As I cut my templates out from my freezer paper, I do this right at the ironing board so that I can choose my fabrics as I cut. Let's say I'm cutting a daisy and I've got a whole bunch of different petals and I have a variety of white fabrics for those petals. I don't want two petals right next to each other out of the same fabric. If I cut all those petals apart and then I go to lay them on the fabrics, I'm going to forget which one is next to which. So I cut them apart and lay them right on the fabric one by one. Okay, when I'm ready to do my tracing, I have a choice of markers. General rule of thumb is to use a dark marker on a light fabric and a light marker on a dark fabric. Now here's a marker that has a lead that doesn't have a lot of dust in it and it's considered washable, but I would highly recommend that you test it first. Some fabrics will not release marks as easily as others. This mechanical pencil has almost a chalk-like lead to it, and it comes in two colors, yellow and silver. However, the silver will show up both on dark fabrics and light fabrics. Really, the only thing it doesn't show up on is the medium blue or medium gray. My favorite marker is the chalk pencil. It's easy to mark with, it moves across the fabric easily, and it washes out. Okay, let's get ready to mark our fabric. I have placed it onto a sandpaper board. This is a very important item. If you can't find a commercially made sandpaper board, then all you need to do is take a piece of light sandpaper and trace on it. Notice that the fabric doesn't move. The sandpaper grips the fabric and it holds it in place while you mark. Freezer paper is on the right side of my fabric and I'm going to mark. Now typically when we trace, we use our dominant hand with our pencil and we hold the template and we would go at it and trace this way. But in doing so, we're going to lift the freezer paper right off our fabric. So I suggest instead that you make sure that you trace over the top of the freezer paper. In other words, the template is between the point of your paper, or the point of your pencil, and your hand. Always work over the top. Because the mark needs to show for our turning under while we stitch, we want to be able to use the correct marker. Remember, light mark on dark fabric, dark mark on light fabric. But it really doesn't matter how wide the line is, because that's in the seam allowance and it's not going to show.